Am I the a-hole for telling my wife if she converts to Islam, I'm divorcing her? Been married for 4 years and together for 7. Love my wife with all my heart. We started dating back in high school and have been inseparable since. Back when we first started dating, she was a Christian. I am an atheist and not super thrilled about religion in general. Well, she ended up falling out of Christianity after a couple years of dating and has gone with the agnostic label since. The last handful of months, though she seemed to be interested in Islam, she'd watched YouTube videos about it and I noticed she had a Quran app on her phone. I asked her what's going on and she says she's been feeling a call to be Muslim. I asked her how and why and she says she saw some videos of a street preacher and it made her look into it, and now it says it connects her more than Christianity did. She's the type who goes through a lot of phases though, so I assumed it was just a phase in short-term interest. Well, the other day she came up to me and said she wanted to get a prayer mat and wanted to try wearing a hijab. We live right outside of Dearborn, Michigan, which is one of the largest hubs of Muslims outside the Middle East. She asked if I'd want to go with her to pick them up or if I'd be okay with these things. I told her that I'm not comfortable with it and I would probably want to separate if she started wearing a hijab, especially. She got pretty upset I said that and asked why, and I told her I'm not interested in being with someone who is religious, especially not someone who is visibly religious to the point they won't show their hair. She said she understands why I may not like it, but threatening to divorce over it means I don't love her. I do love her, but I'm not going to become part of the Muslim community or to be with a woman who wears a hijab or someone who would have to start eating halal and stop and pray multiple times a day. Christianity was okay because she wasn't overly religious and was already waning it by the time we started dating. She says she doesn't know what she wants to pursue, but is really upset that I'd leave her if she chose to fully convert to Islam. Am I the a-hole for calling child services on my cousin's wife? I, 49 male, have a cousin, 34 male, whom I am somewhat close to, mostly for convenient reasons as I live just a 20-minute walk away. He's unfortunately not the brightest light in the Christmas tree, but he means well and hardly ever loses his temper. He has a wife, 32 female, who is the complete opposite of him. I'm not sure why, but they get along enough to get married. I sound judgy, but you'll soon see where I am going with this. The wife gave birth to a baby boy about a month or so ago. No one was allowed to meet the baby except very few people to prevent the spread of germs, which is understandable. Then I get a call from my cousin asking me if I can buy some groceries and maybe take out. He gave me a list. He said his credit card is maxed out and will pay me later. But I said don't worry about it. I got all the things he asked me and put it in one of those little shopping carts, things I use when I go to the fruit market. Then I headed to my cousin's. His wife looked incredibly stressed out, but thanked me for bringing food. I placed the food in the pantry and fridge. She said I can just shove it anywhere, and she wanted to eat the takeout food right away. Then her son spat up where she looked like she wanted to scream. She put the baby on the change table and began to strip him out of his clothes, and he was crying. So I tried to distract the baby to make him laugh while his mom was focused on changing him. It didn't do anything. He kept crying. Then I noticed something horrifying. The poor baby had bruises everywhere and in weird places, but it really shook me. He had blue bruises on his shoulders, back, and even his feet. I was shocked, and I mentioned it to the wife, where she just said, "It's birthmarks." No, I don't think so. They were bruises, but I just asked if the baby maybe fell or something before. But she just snapped and said, "They're birthmarks, and I'm tired and starving and done talking." She placed the crying baby upstairs, came down with the baby monitor screen, and ate the takeout food without another word. The baby was crying, but she did nothing and just ate. By then, I was just scared because she looked pissed and ready to throw something. So I just said goodbye and mentioned my cousin about the bruises. He said they're birthmarks. I asked him if that's what his wife said, and he said yes. I was really worried about the baby. The wife seemed very stressed and unhappy. I didn't directly witness her being aggressive to the baby, but maybe because I was there. But bruised are enough proof that something is going on. So I called the child services and explained the situation. Am I the a-hole for calling child services? And yes, I already called them and left information, but they don't tell what they are going to do or how severe the situation they think it is. At least it sounds like it's not call 911 sort of situation. OP is definitely not the a-hole. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the times when new mothers are going through postpartum, sometimes things can be very, very difficult. But I understand that. But on the other hand, I also understand wanting a small innocent child that just came into the world safety. I feel like the cousin, if he's not that bright and his wife is a little bit going through it, they need maybe like a third person to help them with the baby, maybe to help the mother, maybe a grandma or an aunt to come in help the mom and give her some time to take a break or to relax, because this sounds very, very sad. A newborn baby with bruises all over his body. That sounds very, very sad. Would I be the a-hole if I told my best friend that I don't want her boyfriend to come to my birthday gathering? My 23 female birthday is next month. I really want to meet up with my friends to celebrate, including my best friend Liz, 23 female. We've known each other since second grade and I love her a lot. However, I'm scared she's going to bring her boyfriend, Tim, 36 male, who I really can't stand. Some background: Liz and Tim got together when she was 18 and he was 31. They met at work. When Liz was working at Five Guys and Tim was her manager, at the time I was also 18 and extremely naive. So while I thought the age gap was a bit strange, I trusted her judgment. I never met him personally until the beginning of 2022. Since Liz is a very private person, though she did mention he said I love you a couple months after they got together, and that they started being intimate after that. I thought he was loud and obnoxious, and I resolved not to see him again. This worked until the beginning of 2023, when Liz told me they broke up. Through her sadness, Liz revealed that during their relationship, Ted had made sexist comments. Women have it a lot easier than men these days. Adopted her bisexuality. How can you be attracted to women if you have me? Started smoking and done a lot of drugs. But those weren't the breaking point. Apparently, Liz's friend had sent her proof that Tim had been cheating on her for over 6 months, and that was the act that finally got her to leave. This left me very disgusted at Tim and glad that Liz had gotten away. For about 6 months, all was fine, until one day I was staying at her place and she suddenly said Tim was dropping by. I was shocked and asked her why. All she said was that they were still friends. That entire evening, he was very touchy with her, i.e., hugging her constantly, snuggling with her on the sofa, and getting her to sit on his lap. This left me very uncomfortable and worried for her, but she maintained they were broken up. They ended up getting back together by the end of the month, with Liz claiming Tim gave proof that he never cheated on her at all. I've got no idea how he managed it. Skip to a month ago, I'd organized a dinner with my friends, but when I was only 10 minutes away, Liz told us she didn't ask and I never invited him, that Tim would be joining us. For me, the evening was instantly ruined. We should have been catching up, but suddenly the evening was about Tim's unfunny jokes, loud interruptions, and explicit jokes about him and Liz's intimate life. He even asked everyone for their ages, and upon discovering 2 of us were younger than Liz, joked, I don't feel so bad about dating you anymore. Now my birthday is coming up, and I want to invite everyone out for dinner, including Liz. However, I really don't want to risk him appearing again with no warning. I want to tell Liz I don't want him there, but it feels like an a-hole thing to do. She lives alone and doesn't have a relationship with her family, so Tim is practically the only person she has. Would I be the a-hole if I asked her not to let him show up? Absolutely not. OP is definitely not the a-hole. And I don't care what anybody says, to be honest, but what in God's green earth does a grown 31-year-old man or woman have in common with the 18-year-old teenage girl or boy? And people are always trying to argue this argument down, and they're always saying, well, if technically 18 is legal, the age of consent in some states is 16, so the only thing that's stopping you from dating and going lower is the government. And the thing is, like, if somebody was 17 tonight and their birthday's tomorrow and they turn 18, yeah, technically in the government's eyes, they're 18. But at the end of the day, you don't change in a night. You don't suddenly change your behaviors, your attitude, your opinion, your mentality. Once your age changes, that's not how that works. Like, I don't understand why people would justify dating anybody that's that young when they're that old. Like, 31-year-old is grown. Like, I'm 23 years old, and compared to 18-year-old, like, I have a lot of 18-year-old coworkers and 17-year-old coworkers. When I'm talking to them, I can just tell I'm talking to a young teenage person, and I'm only 23 years old. So imagine a 31-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 40-something-year-old. God forbid they're in their 50s. Like, what do these people have in common with these young people? Just the only thing the only thing that they have to justify is, well, it's legal. At the end of the day, the age of consent is just that, the age of consent. But if the age of consent was lower than that, would you be going lower? Like, some of y'all have no morality at all. And I don't think OP is in the wrong. If she doesn't want some disgusting loser around her, then she has every right not to want that man around her. But I also would say, like, clearly your friend is obviously impressionable. She's young and she's naive, and she's being blindsided by this man who's way older than her. Obviously, there's a reason why he targeted her to begin with. 31-year-old and an 18-year-old. You can already see where that's going. So I feel like you should be there for your friend OP. Just stick it out a little bit longer and be there for your friends, especially since you mentioned that she has nobody but that man. You don't want to leave her and isolate her to be with that man even farther than she already is with him. But anyways, that's all I have to say. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below, and let me know what you think of these stories. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.